Okay, we can turn around and please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Ken Randall, Dean of the Antonin Scalia Law School, and it is my great honor to welcome you to the convocation for the great law class of 2021. We are absolutely thrilled to be with you in person today. And without our masks. Normally, we wait until the end of a program to thank everyone who has made the occasion possible, but today is really special. I want us first to recognize our staff colleagues who had Herculean efforts to make today possible: Kim Gallagher, Alyssa Bellinger, Denise Beatty, Carlos Sandoval, Donnie Trung, Cindy Snyder, Christine Malone, Victoria Huber, Rachel Quinn, Julie Gladbach, our student marshals, our staff, and student and friend volunteers. Thank you for what you did for us today. Graduates, you asked for an in-person ceremony, and we are providing an in-person ceremony. Please now rise for our national anthem, which will be sung by our own second-year law student and a Dean Scholar, Michelle Story.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle epitomizes our multi-talented students at Scalia Law. We now will share with you a video of photos submitted by our students commemorating their time at the law school. I now want to recognize some special guests. Normally, we would start with the platform party, but it is limited in size today, and everyone will be introduced in just a few minutes. So instead, I turn to our law faculty, who also normally would be on stage with us, but they are all in the front rows. Faculty, will you please stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. I now want to recognize the guests of our graduates, whether you were in person or watching remotely, the family and friends who have given of themselves and made sacrifices, financial and otherwise, to help you earn your degree, the moms, the dads, the sisters or brothers, grandparents, husbands, wives, children, significant others, partners and friends, wherever you are located, here or in your living rooms, will you please stand so that we can applaud you? We'll now have remarks from 5 student speakers who have been selected by their classmates to speak today. First, we welcome our first ever Juris Master class speaker, Ginger Gibson Burke. Ginger.
It is important that we start by stating the obvious. This afternoon, you are witnessing something historic, the first of its kind, something that will never be repeated. And no, I'm not talking about all of this. Before your eyes is George Mason Law School's first class of Juris Master students, the inaugural class that showed up at the law school in January of 2019, hopeful, ambitious, and a little blissfully unaware. But I sense there's a bit of confusion in the air that isn't about how much longer we're supposed to be wearing these. What is a Juris Master's, many of you are wondering? Well, today I'm here to explain. At its core, it is what it sounds like, a Master's of Jurisprudence, a degree in the law. But when we leave here today, none of us, the 11 here, the 14 accepting this degree, will become lawyers. Or in other words, not a single one of us will leave here today and start studying for the bar. The rest of you can enjoy that. We didn't come here to be lawyers, but to understand why we did come here, you have to know a little bit about who we are, the JMs. When the class first reported in January of 2019, we were 7 women and 1 man, who promptly dropped out a few weeks later, allowing us to warn every man who came behind him of our first semester 100% male dropout rate. But there were others who joined us, and today we graduate 14. We came from all different places. We were legislative aides in Congress, human resource administrators in corporate America. We wrote contracts for corporations. We wrote contracts for the government. We shaped policy and we drafted laws. And some, like me, were journalists. Some of us are going to go on to do new, exciting things, and many of us will continue in the fields that we love, but now with a deeper understanding, not just of the law, but as the cliche goes, of how to think like a lawyer's. It's true, JDs. We've been sitting in the same classes as you the past 2 years, watching, studying, and taking notes. Sometimes we even shared those notes with you, and we're prepared to put them to good use. We now understand the economics of a breach of contract, the importance of procedure, and when to roll our eyes because that lawyer in our office keeps invoking Youngstown Steel because he thinks it makes him sound smart and nobody else in the room knows what he's talking about. We also know how to make jokes about Youngstown Steel now. We've been tried and tested in more ways than could be found in the pages of our textbooks. We lost jobs, we quit jobs, we started new jobs. Our families packed up and moved across the globe. We got engaged, we got married, or we rescheduled weddings. We had babies, 3 of them in the program. And we're really glad that baby number 4 has decided to wait long enough for his mom to be here today. Like many others here, we left for spring break a year ago and never went back to the classroom. We balanced full-time jobs with full-time childcare with full-time Zoom classes. We stressed about capstone deadlines over group chats, and we sent each other text messages on January 6th from our offices. And we got through it all. And we're here today, the first to sit in these seats, warming them for the class that come behind us. Because the first always comes with a little bit of remarkableness. People who are first require a certain amount of bravery and courage and recklessness. So what is a Juris Masters? We are a new batch of professionals trained in the law, but lurking secretly in your offices without Esquire behind our names to give us away. But more accurately, we remain the ambitious and hopeful professionals who arrived that first day and now return to the world better equipped to debate the day.
Thank you, Ginger. We are not going to ask for your recruitment help with male incoming students. Now from the LLM class, Major Andom Grezgeher.
Good afternoon. My name is Major Andom Grezgeher, and the views and opinions contained in this speech are solely mine and do not reflect any official position of the Marine Corps or the Department of the Navy. That being said, welcome to your safety brief. I was told as a young lieutenant to always be bold, be brief, and be gone. So let's just hope we can keep a clear path out of here in case I bomb this speech, so please stand by. For those of you that are not fully tracking, yes, I am a lawyer. No, I did not fail law school. And yes, we're all wearing the same robes. And the reason for that is because I am an LLM student. An LLM is an advanced post-JD degree in a specific area. We are those who have an obsession with a specific niche practice and have come back to school for another year of laptops and lattes. Or alternatively, some of us are foreign-educated attorneys who are adapting our overseas legal education to the American system in hopes of expanding our practice. And then there are the select few amongst us who simply enjoyed the barrister's ball and wanted to come back for another tango. It is what it is. But most of us are a little bit older, some of us a little bit grayer, but all of us have a different perspective. As I've been practicing law for a little bit now, I've made my fair share of mistakes. And as one of my mentors always tells me, butt chewing builds character. And after a decade of practicing in the Marine Corps, I've got more character than the cast of Friends. So please bear with me to identify a few landmines that I've encountered along the way, or landmines I've seen others encounter, so we can all avoid them together and stay the steady course. First, be thankful. There is no doubt that the last year has been one of the most challenging in recent memory. Earning any of the distinguished degrees from this School of Law is hard enough as it is. But then throw in the inability to utilize the library, office hours, study groups, made it all significantly more challenging. I am thankful that my peers and classmates stuck through it and found a way to succeed. I am thankful that the school and the staff were able to flex to online teaching and other innovative ways to ensure that we were delivered the academic materials in the same high-quality manner as we were prior to the pandemic. And it's not lost on us that this was accomplished through efforts of people like Assistant Dean Christine Malone, who is ubiquitous in all of our minds as a person roaming around in the cybersphere with a baseball bat looking for problems to knock out of the park. We are thankful. But now that we have conquered the pandemic just enough to where we are walking across the stage let me talk a little bit about the way ahead. First, be a good teammate. Be a good partner. Just be a good person. That grand motion that you think is the greatest piece of legal theory and argument this side of the Potomac will mean nothing in 6 months. And even less if you're rude to the clerk of court when you're filing it. Understand that we are who we are and where we are because of the support around us. Be it your spouse, your family, your professors, the registrar's office, and we love you guys so much for everything you do. Acknowledge that fact. That court reporter doesn't give 2 cents about how meticulously you researched your memo, but he or she will care about how you treated them during the trial. Be that person who's willing to go the distance for a teammate. Be that person who goes the extra mile to make sure that those around you are feeling the love and appreciation. Envelop the people with you with warmth and a sense of camaraderie, and they will fight harder for you. They will enable you to succeed, and by doing so, and more importantly, you will enable them to succeed. Second, be humble. It is admirable to take a pause, that second breath, to ask for rudder to guide you through uncharted waters, or for someone to check your maps to make sure you're not getting lost. You can ask someone like Professor Dick or Professor Reiser, or any supervisor or mentor worth his salt or her salt, and they will not blink at jumping to make sure that the team is being properly led, developed, and mentored. Be that good mentee. Be aggressive. Strive to maintain that thirst for knowledge and share it with one another. That's how you'll be a good leader. Because let's be honest, if we knew all there was to know about the law, then we'd all be Professor Jaffer and be on a million committees and subcommittees and podcasts and TV shows and have the whole world wondering, when does that guy sleep? But we appreciate him and everything that he does for us and all of our professors have done for us. And we know it's because of them and their efforts that we are here today. And lastly, be happy. Have an open and glad heart. There are those that can fight the good fight inside the courtroom and then go crack open a bottle of soda and talk about fly fishing. Let's be those people. The law is something that is beautiful, complex, and something that appreciates effort, but it has a way to turn people ugly. But it doesn't have to be that way. George Mason University has given us the keys to many doors. Just follow your hearts and your guts, and we'll all be fine. This concludes your safety brief. Thank you all for allowing me to be up here, and I wish everyone nothing but fair winds and following seas. Thank you.
Thank you, Andon. Those are wonderful remarks. The J.D. Day students have selected Rita Rugelberger.
Thank you, Dean Randall. Good afternoon, all. I am honored to have been asked to speak on behalf of the 3L Day class today. We've all thought many times in the last year that a ceremony like this would not be possible, and we are so grateful to everyone here, to everyone backstage, and everyone listening at home for all of their support to get us where we are today in these very seats. To all those who are missing a loved one or mentor today, my heart goes out to you as well. Thinking back to our first days spent on the law school campus, some of us, to some degree, anxious and lost, I could not have envisioned all of the highs and lows we would encounter on this law school journey. We each came to law school for different reasons, with different backgrounds, and with different end goals. And today is one of the many goals that I can honestly say we all shared. In preparing to address you all today, I thought long and hard about what got us here, what pushed us to achieve our ambitions despite long odds and even longer nights, nose deep in a casebook. The words of Atticus Finch in Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird really spoke to me. He was a defense attorney who, against difficult odds, remained steadfast in pursuing justice, and he explained his drive to his children like this. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through, no matter what. I can say, at least for myself, that the sheer volume of information, expectations, and caffeine intake crash over me some nights like a bitterly cold wave. And yet, when I looked around a classroom, even a Zoom room, I could always see a classmate paying rapt attention to the subject of our studies, hear someone passionately describing the subject of their student note, comment, or semester paper, or pass a team in the courtrooms dressed to the nines, preparing to go to trial. And all of these simple things would give me hope. They would revive my courage to continue, to pour my heart, soul, and mind into the task at hand, no matter how tedious those Blue Book exercises may have been. Through these last few years, we kept turning the pages, even as the night stretched into day. We may have measured exam time by the frantic beating of our hearts, and we have griped, even cried to a trusted friend who reminded us that we got this. Today, graduates, we can at long last celebrate together seeing law school through and celebrate everyone's many talents and strengths. As I look out on all of you today, I am reminded of how I have seen so many of you at your most passionate in pursuit of knowledge and the law, and I know you are persistent, tenacious, and courageous. While the paths we may each pursue from here may not be without difficulties, though we too may face insurmountable odds at times, with support from our mentors and loved ones, and with our real courage, we will begin anyway and see it through. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And Kevin Bell was elected as the JD Night Class Speaker. Kevin.
On behalf of the evening class, thank you to all the professors, administrators, and thanks in particular to Stuart for helping us get our caps and gowns in time. And most of all, thanks to all the families and friends who have missed us and worried about us the past 4 years. Please be patient for a few more months while we prepare for the bar exam. And for me personally, a big thank you goes out to Domino's Pizza for fueling my legal studies. I know I don't call much anymore, but I'll always treasure the times that we had. It's difficult to describe to family, friends, and coworkers just how hard it was to work full-time while finishing law school at night. When we try, it sounds like hyperbole. Speaking for myself, I've had a long, varied, and sometimes unfortunately exciting career spanning from combat in Afghanistan to the Treasury. But without a doubt, the single hardest thing that I've ever done was working full-time while going to law school with all of you. And I know I'm not the only one. For many of us, graduation felt like an impossible, tantalizing, and distant dream. But today, the sun is shining, the cicadas are buzzing, and the longed-for summer of 2021 has come. To my evening student classmates, there's no sense in me trying to inspire you today when you're the ones who inspire me. You gave birth in February of our second semester and had another child born in the middle of final exams. You took on promotions at work, adjudicated complicated patent issues, conducted cyber investigations at the FBI, managed operations for a huge national trade association, handled cases for Guantanamo detainees, and worked long hours at your offices. If my math is right, 8 of us got married in the last few years, and almost as many have celebrated the birth of new children. We did all of this while juggling other family priorities, a global pandemic, worldwide protests against racial injustice, and absolutely crushing it here in school. Each and every one of you has taken on Herculean tasks to get here today, and you've succeeded. You're an inspiration. And all I can do today is offer you a few of my hopes for your futures. As Knight students, let's face it, we are gluttons for punishment. And we are at our best when we're operating at the very limits of our capacity. So I don't hope in vain that things will get easier for you. On the contrary, I hope you continue to thrive in the hardest of circumstances that life has to offer, because I know you'll seek them out anyway. I hope that in the darkest hours, when stress and the expectations of others overwhelm you, that you turn to your most reliable friends. Stress eating, procrastination, ignoring non-essential tasks, and expanding the definition of non-essential tasks. Some of you like to live dangerously. You know who you are. I hope you beautiful scoundrels always do it your way. There's nothing wrong with turning things in at the absolute last possible moment, as long as your work is good. That said, Bernie, I'm sorry I almost gave you a heart attack by turning in our joint LRWA project 4 seconds before the deadline. In my defense, that was still early, but your frantic text told a different story. I have no intention of changing, but I'm sorry all the same. I hope that you continue to find your friendships only in the midst of the hardest circumstances. The people you can rely on through challenges like this are friends for life. And finally, I hope you continue to focus your energy only on what truly matters, and that you let go of trying to control almost everything else. As anyone who's seen a 4-year-old photo of me would recognize, there are a lot of things I've let go of to get through school. But times change. And while I'm out hitting the road and the gym again so I can fit into my pants, you'll be going on to change the world. And as you do, I hope you also find the sweet release and joy of letting go of perfection. I've seen what you all can do when the times get tough, and I can't wait to continue to travel this road with you in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for your service. Our final student speaker is the 2021 President of the Student Bar Association, Maggie Koester. Maggie, you have led the class of 2021 through an unprecedented time. With students spread at times throughout the world, you have helped pull our academic community together, and I've always appreciated your sharing your candid insights with me. Maggie, the podium is yours.
So nice. Thank you, Dean Randall. Good afternoon, family, friends, faculty, and graduates. First off, keeping in my candid tradition, I have a few warnings. I have never spoken in front of this many people before, so there's a chance I autopilot to my oral advocacy competitions. So if I introduce my co-counsel, Brady Clapp, or call Justin Angotti monopolistic again, I apologize, please bear with me. Though if I do start chanting justice for Ruth, I expect Dara Finley to hop in with me. And second, for my fellow 3Ds, you all have been incredibly well behaved today, but just in case, I did bring a whistle in case you fall out of line because that worked so well in scholarly writing. On a more serious note, I have had the absolute privilege of being the Student Bar Association president for the past year. And this gave me a much different view on my classmates, one less focused on grades and studying and law school becoming our entire personalities, and more on what incredible leaders you all are, and how passionate you are about the things that you care about. But we didn't get here without some growing pains. As friends and family, professors, and law students yourselves, we know that we all do a lot of complaining. And it starts before day one of law school, when we all realize that we showed up and we thought we knew how to read, but we sure didn't. But we got through 1L and truly thought it was smooth sailing from there, because all the upperclassmen lied to us and said it gets better in 2L. Now, I don't know exactly why they lied, but honestly, a lot of us here probably caught ourselves
telling those same lies to the class of 2022. I apologize for the vicious cycle. But we spent a lot of our second year wondering, when will law school get better? And maybe you were all like me and thought your final year would finally be when we could let out a collective breath and sail to graduation. And then a global pandemic hit. And now we're graduating in a literal parking lot. But even though we were visiting students of the Zoom School of Law for our final year, looking back, law school did get better because we made it better through that leadership and passion you all have that I mentioned earlier. We made it better by demanding that it be better, by taking up space. And here's where I have to give a special shout out to the women of Scalia Law. I look out at the graduates before us and see all 5 editors-in-chief of our law journals are women, the first time that has ever happened at Scalia Law. And thankfully, the ladies didn't stop there. Both of our oral advocacy organizations, 2 of the largest student organizations on campus, Moot Court Board and Trial Advocacy Association, are led by women. And I think that's pretty incredible. And while there's still plenty of work to be done, we should be very proud of the strides we made while balancing some incredibly busy schedules. We are also a class made of people ready to speak up to injustices, a class who understood that the law does not apply in a vacuum. So when opportunities to use our voices and our privileges as law students arose, we took them. We refused to be complicit and worked hard to make sure that our community, our school, and ourselves all got better. And that's what I'll remember most about the class of 2021. And while we were doing all of this, the other classes were watching. That's another privilege of being Student Bar Association president. I get to talk a lot to the incoming student leaders for the organizations we're leaving behind. And I can promise you, they are truly going to live on, continue on the legacy of the class of 2021. And without getting too preachy, I hope you all continue to lead, to take up space, to demand better, and to dissent. In becoming attorneys, we take on a huge responsibility, not just to our clients, to our employers, but to the world. Across all areas of law and policy that the class of 2021 will go off into, the bedrock principles remain the same: justice and fairness. I'm so excited to see how the class of 2021 will uphold that justice and fairness, and quite frankly, change the world. Making the world a better place won't be easy, but hey, if we could do it with law school, I promise we can do it with the whole world. On behalf of the entire class of 2021, I'd like to thank our support systems. I'll give a special shout out to my mom and dad back there. But you kept us all grounded, well, as grounded as law students possibly can be. Thank you for encouraging us when certain classes tried to destroy us. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. And before I sit down or some Oscar music starts playing, I'd like to lean into the Elle Woods comparison here and end with this. Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it.
Thank you, Maggie. Wonderful words. Each year, the graduating class elects a faculty member to speak at the convocation. The class of 2021 has selected Professor Caroline Sicot, who joined the Scalia Law faculty in 2017. Some of our students had Professor Sicot as a first-year torts professor, while others of you elected to take her administrative law or environmental law classes. No doubt she has made a lasting impact on your law school experience. Professor Sicot earned her baccalaureate in economics from Harvard College, Phi Beta Kappa, and a JD and a PhD in economics from Vanderbilt University. During her graduate studies, she received both the Jackson Prize and the Martin Memorial Prize, and then she clerked on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. Professor Sikot is a devoted and an inspiring teacher committed to helping students inside and outside the classroom. Please join me in welcoming Professor Sikot to the podium.
Hi. I am deeply honored to be here today. This class is very special to me. I started at the law school in fall 2017, but in fall 2018, the year many of you started, I was assigned to teach torts to 50 students. My first time teaching torts and my first time teaching 1Ls. I guess we both were thrown into the fire that semester. And since then, I've gotten to know many more of you in administrative law, environmental law, events, student groups, and through other less formal interactions. I know that this class taught me more than I taught you. Thank you. Today is my last time at the podium before you all, which I'm holding on to in case you're wondering how I'm not wandering around the stage the way I do in the classroom. Today is a commencement ceremony. Yes, we're also celebrating what you've accomplished in your time at the law school, but the focus is the new beginning, the beginning of your next journey, your career, the rest of your lives. Polish Nobel Prize-winning poet Wisława Szymborska has a poem called Contribution to Statistics. The poem is a set of musings about human nature, numerically expressed. Here's an excerpt. Out of 100 people, those who always know better, 52. Doubting every step, nearly all the rest. Glad to lend a hand if it doesn't take too long, as high as 49. Always good because they can't be otherwise, 4. Well, maybe 5. Capable of happiness, 20-something tops. Mortal, 100 out of 100, a figure that has never varied yet. There are more than 200 students graduating this year. Even if we double all the numbers in the poem, we're still left with a sobering view of the future. How would we be counted? How do we want to be counted? And that last line, undoubtedly true, reminds us that we have limited time to live and shape our legacies. How can our group transcend Szymborska's statistics? Well, first of all, I need to make the selection point. This is not a random group. You've all been hand-selected to join this community, in part because of your academic strengths, your character, and your hard work. And while here, you've changed, you've learned a lot, and you've done this through a pandemic, which I haven't even mentioned yet, but which of course is an important backdrop to half of your time here, showing your resilience. Looking to the future, what more can you do? In college, I took a course called Positive Psychology on how to be happy. There were almost 1,000 students enrolled in the course, and it wasn't a remote course. I usually sat in the mezzanine section. I don't think I ever raised my hand, and I may have rolled my eyes a few times or more during the course, but it stuck with me. We talked about how happiness is not an end state or a destination. In one view, it's a descriptor for the journey we take towards some goal, sort of like the climb up the mountain, up towards the peak. At one point during the course, we specifically talked about how to choose a career by reflecting on a series of questions. The first question, what are you good at? You graduates have trained in the law. You know how to read cases, laws, regulations. You can apply them to particular situations, and you can use that knowledge to anticipate changes, formulate strategies, manage situations, identify best outcomes. And because new applications arise or outstanding unjust ones exist, you know how to think aspirationally. How should law change or evolve? And what is the most persuasive case for that change? Some pretty powerful strengths, which you've built through persistence, diligence, lots of reading, critical thinking, and lots of writing. Second question, what do you enjoy doing? And I bet in your time here, you've gotten a pretty good sense of which of these skills you actually enjoy using. And at this point, it seemed that your career should embody the intersection of your responses to these two questions. But based on the evidence, that's not enough. The final question, the most important and the most elusive one, is what do you find meaningful? What does this even mean? As you reflect on this, I'll offer 5 thoughts. First, a minimum criterion, the hand formula, or restated, do more good than harm, or better yet, maximize the good that you do. Second, what's meaningful is rarely what's easy. In graduate school, I was lucky to have wonderful mentors. I remember pitching an idea for my dissertation. I had all the data I needed. One of my advisors asked me, "But are you really excited about this idea? Do you need to know the answer to this question?" I said, "I know I can answer this question." Well, that's not enough. That's not enough. It won't get you to the end, especially the last few months where it will be hard and everything will go wrong. You need curiosity, the feeling that you must know the truth to get to the finish line. Third, I doubt that there's one thing that we all find meaningful, just as we don't all find the same things enjoyable. I also think that for each of us, what we find meaningful might change over time as we learn more and evaluate new opportunities. And so here I urge you to live fully in each moment, even those moments that seem like mere transitions to what you've determined is the next stage in your pursuit. Create work that will make you proud, and make sure that you're actively participating, not just going through the motions, recording moments for a resume, or even recording things for you or others to view or enjoy later. These moments might end up being some of the happiest and most transformative periods of your life, creating unexpected but valuable opportunities and redefining what you find meaningful, so don't miss them. Fourth, don't think you have to do it alone. All good journeys have good companions, and the journey toward a meaningful goal, the definition of a happy life, is not any different. The relationships we form are very important and sometimes pivotal to helping us carve our path or even define the peak. In my own journey, I'm grateful to so many people who helped and supported me. I would not be where I am without these individuals. In fact, many of them changed my path in important ways. For your journey, look out for these kinds of companions. And fifth, be kind. Now back to Szymborska's poem. She says herself that only that last statistic, our mortality, is unchanging. And so I've taken the liberty to rewrite the excerpt, reflecting on this specific group of graduates here today. Out of 100 people, those who always know better, well, honestly, all of you, you're a group of lawyers, but unsure of your future steps, no doubt all of you too, to some extent, ready to help even when it's difficult, striving to be the best you can be, applying your powerful skills to improve the world in some meaningful way, being good companions. This part is in your control, but capable of happiness, the true kind, the journey towards a meaningful goal, 100 out of 100. Good luck to you all. You are ready to get out there, and I'm so glad the world needs you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Caroline. Class, you made a great selection for your faculty speaker. Wonderful. For our convocation address, we are honored today to welcome the Honorable Ignacia S. Moreno. In 2018, Ms. Moreno was appointed by Governor Ralph Northam to serve on the George Mason University Board of Visitors, where she was elected to the Executive Committee. Ms. Moreno is the Chief Executive Officer and a founding principal of the I. Moreno Group, PLC, which provides legal services and strategic counseling on environmental and natural resource matters, corporate and corporate governance, criminal defense, and immigration matters. Ms. Moreno is recognized as one of our nation's leading environmental and natural resource lawyers. During her 30-year career, she has served as a top or the top environmental lawyer at the United States Department of Justice. She has been corporate environmental counsel at a Fortune 10 company, and she has practiced with prominent national law firms. Born in Colombia and a naturalized U.S. citizen, Ms. Moreno received both her baccalaureate and her law degree from New York University. In 2009, Ms. Moreno was nominated by President Obama to serve as Assistant Attorney General of the Environment and Natural Resources Division of the United States Department of Justice, and she was unanimously confirmed by the U.S. Senate and led the division from 2009 to 2013, overseeing a 650-person litigation division. The law school is grateful for Ms. Moreno's support for our Corley Institute, and we're also happy to have her husband, Bob Bacata, with us today. Please give us a warm welcome to our speaker, the Honorable Ignacia S. Moreno.
Good afternoon. I see you're sitting in the sun, so I'm going to keep that in mind as I speak. Well, thank you, Dean Randall, for the warm introduction. I'm deeply honored to serve as the Antonin Scalia Law School's 2021 commencement speaker. I am a member of the George Mason Board of Visitors, and I am the board's liaison to the law school. I also serve on the advisory board of the law school's Corley Institute, which is dedicated to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm immensely proud to be affiliated with the George Mason University and the Antonin Scalia Law School. My thanks to Dean Randall and the law school community for inviting me to speak with this most amazing law school class. As we gather to celebrate your graduation, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that we do so in the face of an ongoing global pandemic that has upended life as we know it. You have overcome great uncertainty, loneliness, doubt, tumult, a year of unprecedented challenges. Some of you or your family members have experienced the health consequences of the pandemic. Some of you lost your jobs or had your summer internships shortened or canceled. Some of you had to help your children with virtual learning while quarantined at home. And all of you had to navigate the rigors of a law school curriculum in all virtual classes starting last spring. Yet, this also has been a year of hope, of love, of grit, of resilience, and of triumph. By taking your seat in this ceremony, you have shown that you have a remarkable ability to adapt and succeed. As you complete this milestone and graduate from law school, know that there is nothing that will hold you back or defeat you. Each of you is a warrior. You have overcome everything that life has thrown at you and have not only survived, but thrived. I am extraordinarily proud of each of you. You did it class of 2021, and you deserve a big round of applause. Congratulations. My congratulations as well to your families, friends, significant others, professors, administrators, mentors, who have all supported you along the way. They deserve a round of applause as well. There are 224 of you in the class of 2021, including 163 of you receiving Juris Doctor degrees, 47 of you receiving Master of Law or LLM degrees, and 14 of you receiving Master of Jurisprudence degrees. You will be heading in a lot of different and interesting directions, and you have so much to look forward to. Some of you will serve our country by joining the JAG Corps, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Thank you in advance for your service to the nation. Others will serve as judicial clerks to federal or state judges, including in Alaska. Nearly half of you will go into private practice at law firms, large and small. Others will go into the federal government to work at key executive branch agencies and on Capitol Hill. Some of you will go into the nonprofit sector, and others will go into business. And several of you will become prosecutors and public defenders. Some of you are in the process of seeking and considering opportunities. Good for you. Remember that it's only a matter of time before you find your entry point into the legal field. Wherever your path takes you, remember that being a lawyer is a profession. It is not just a job. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, one of your first acts as a member of the legal profession will be to pledge to conduct yourself in a professional manner. What does that mean? According to the Virginia Bar's Principles of Professionalism, and I quote in part, it means to remember that you are a part of a self-governing profession and that your actions reflect upon your profession. Treat everyone as you want to be treated, with respect and courtesy. Contribute your skills, knowledge, and influence in service to your community. Act at all times with professional integrity so that others will know that your word is your bond. Act as a mentor and serve as a role model. Avoid all bigotry, discrimination, or prejudice. These are principles that I live by and that I believe are important guideposts as you enter the legal profession. First, let's talk about civility. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, the namesake of this wonderful law school, once memorably said, "I attack ideas, I don't attack people." And some very good people have some very bad ideas. And if you can't separate the two, you got to get another day job. One of Justice Scalia's former clerks has said, Justice Scalia did not let legal or political disagreements stand in the way of friendships or of respect for others. That is not to say that Justice Scalia viewed legal and political disagreements as insignificant. He surely did not. It is instead to say that he also viewed friendship and respect as independently important and as necessary to developing a proper understanding of complex problems. So yes, it's all right that we don't all agree. As lawyers, though, we need to find a way to discuss our differences in a civil manner and without demonizing those who have different views. But don't take just my word for it. At an event co-hosted by the law school's National Security Institute, Justice Neil Gorsuch and Justice Sonia Sotomayor recently acknowledged that they share a common conviction. As stated by Justice Gorsuch, you have to ask yourself, how can a democracy function if we can't talk to one another and if we can't disagree kindly with respect for one another's differences and different points of view? Good question. It is imperative that we all listen to and respect different points of view. As you enter the legal field, be mindful that you will likely be called upon to answer questions that have multiple facets. If you don't respect or try to understand the other side's thinking, or believe that only your view has value, this will limit your perspective and limit your options for achieving a favorable resolution. But if you understand the viewpoint of the people on the other side of an issue, you are more than halfway there to finding a path forward. More broadly, we must all work to be civil, respectful, and open-minded in order to address the critical problems facing our nation, such as the existential threat posed by climate change, the economic and health disparities that have been exacerbated during the pandemic, the deep political divisions that threaten our democracy, and the undeniable and painful evidence of racial injustice that mobilized millions in the US and around the world to take to the streets in protest. As a lawyer, you will be subject to rules of professional conduct. In all that you do, you must conduct yourself at all times with the highest level of professional integrity. Your commitment to being an ethical lawyer will be tested, not when things are going smoothly, no, but when difficulties arise. That is when it is important to know yourself, to have a moral compass, a true north. When I began practicing law at Hogan and Hartson, now Hogan Lovells, I was fortunate to have brilliant and ethical role models and mentors. Two of them remain my mentors to this day, 30 years later. I can't impress upon you the importance of having mentors and being a mentor, even to your peers. Mentors can provide context and serve as sounding boards, especially in a crisis. At Hogan, I worked for a partner who told me that the only mistake that I could make was to not tell him if I made a mistake, because then he couldn't do anything to fix it. Well, 2 weeks later, I discovered a mistake and had the opportunity to test that proposition. True to his word, there were no adverse consequences. He and I worked together to find a solution, and in the process, I earned his trust. It is inevitable that you will make mistakes in the course of your career. You are only human. And when you do, be candid with your colleagues, clients, opposing counsel, or the court. Ultimately, your reputation for candor and honesty will define you. At another time and place in my career, I was pressured to file a civil action that I did not believe was justified under the facts and the law. I had decided that I would resign rather than file the action. I persisted in making my points and was ultimately able to persuade decision makers to not file the action. It was difficult, but it was the right thing to do, and I earned their respect. When facing a difficult problem, you may be tempted to cut corners or take a questionable but easier path. Don't. Instead, do the work necessary to understand your client's issues and goals. Be creative and find a way forward for your client that does not involve compromising your integrity or theirs. I have never regretted choosing to act in an ethical manner. I view my professional reputation as my most valuable asset. I cultivate it, I treasure it, and protect it. I recommend you do the same. Whatever you do, don't jeopardize your law license. Don't throw away the hard work and sacrifices that you have made these past 3 years. So, it is phenomenal being a lawyer. As lawyers, as leaders, you can make an enormous impact on the world around you. Lawyers have a long tradition of providing leadership and service to their communities, industry, government, and the nation. Of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 25 were lawyers. Of the 55 framers of the Constitution, 32 were lawyers. Lawyers have protected our constitutional rights to freedom of speech, press, and religion, due process, and equal protection under the law. Lawyers played key roles in securing the right to vote for women and people of color. Lawyers argued to establish the constitutional right of indigent defendants to legal representation. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy deployed federal marshals to integrate public schools to uphold the law. In the last presidential election, an army of lawyers fanned out across America to protect the right to vote and the integrity of our elections. Lawyers are at the forefront, the so-called tip of the spear, in identifying and battling injustices. The rule of law is alive and well because time and again, lawyers have held the line to uphold the nation's laws and the Constitution. Now, it is your turn to continue this great tradition. Leadership starts now, not when you're gray-haired and in your 50s. Leadership is the ability to influence an outcome by using your power in a wise, just, and principled manner. It is having the ambition to think big and to do the necessary work to realize your vision. Leadership is having the courage to do the right thing, especially when it isn't popular. History has shown that a single individual can affect change. There is no reason why that individual can't be you. Be a voice for those who don't have a voice. Whether you're leading the charge or working quietly behind the scenes, make things happen. Do as Mahatma Gandhi said to do. Be the change you want to see in the world. In closing, I will say that I love being a lawyer, and I am enormously grateful for the opportunity to have been an associate and partner at major law firms, to have led the Environment and Natural Resources Division at the United States Department of Justice, to have founded my own law firm with 2 partners. And I am an immigrant from Cartagena, Colombia. I say this to offer you a word of encouragement. If I can do it, so can you. Ours is not a profession for the faint of heart, but you already know that. It takes a lot of hard work to be a good lawyer, and you will need to be mentally, physically, and emotionally strong. You will need to think clearly in a crisis. You will need to appear calm in a storm, even if your heart is racing. This will inspire your clients and colleagues to have confidence in you. It is inevitable that challenging people or challenging situations will appear in your path. That has probably already happened. Embrace the challenges and setbacks. They are there for you to grow. They are there for you to learn to be courageous and compassionate. As Randy Pausch said in the last lecture, and I paraphrase, don't let brick walls get in your way. The brick walls are there to see if you really want it. So go over the brick walls, go under the brick walls, or go around the brick walls, but find a way forward. Don't let disappointments get you down so that you quit. Don't let unfairness make you cynical so that you come to expect it rather than to challenge it. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever close any doors by not trying. Never give up, never give in, and never surrender. Persist kindly. You are the future. You are great. Go out there and be great. And don't forget to fall in love. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. It has been a tremendous honor and a highlight. Blessings to you.
Thank you, Ms. Moreno. Your words were inspiring. You honor us with your presence, and we're touched today. We appreciate all you've done for us. We cannot let this day pass without paying special tribute to the man who served as Dean of the class of 2021 during the majority of your time at Scalia Law, Henry N. Butler. I expect that many of our students first experienced the force that is Henry Butler when, as an admitted student, you received a call from him telling you that Scalia Law is the obvious choice to come to law school and that you were out of your mind to think of anywhere else to go. Now, 3 or 4 years and many onwards and upwards later, you're ready to move on from the law school that forever will be impacted by Dean Butler's tenure. Henry Butler's immense contributions will long outlast his deanship, with the naming of the law school for Justice Antonin Scalia at the pinnacle of his tenure. We're fortunate that Dean Butler remains at the law school on the faculty and as executive director of the Law and Economics Center. In partnership with his wife, Paige, also seated in the front row, the Butlers have left the law school better when they found it. Paige was a vital member of the Law and Economics Center until her retirement last year, and together, Paige and Henry Butler were the best fundraising team in the history of American legal education. My wife Susan and I have very big shoes to fill. To commemorate in perpetuity their impact on the law school, we have endowed the Paige V. and Henry N. Butler Endowed Chair in Law. Will you please stand so we can recognize you, Paige and Henry? Can we do an onward and upward for Dean Butler? Onward and upward. Henry, we'd love for you to come to the stage to help us greet the graduates, if you can do that, please. Please come up and join us. It is now the moment that you've been waiting for. Whether you are at home or here with us, all of the graduates, will you please stand? Graduates, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors of the George Mason University and as recommended and approved by the Antonin Scalia Law Faculty, I confer upon our graduates the Juris Master, Master of Law, and Juris Doctor degrees with all of their rights, responsibilities, privileges, and duties. And graduates, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations to you. You can now be seated. We're going to ask Professor Craig Lerner to help us to present the diplomas. And student marshals, will you please start our procession?
Today's diploma presentation includes graduates joining us both in person and virtually. Please hold your applause until after the virtual graduates have been recognized. Presenting the graduates of our Juris Master of Laws program, this program provides students with an opportunity for a focused study and a concentration to supplement their employment. The students graduating with the Juris Master degree are Virginia Stella Gibson Burke. Ashraf M. Al-Shahabi. Guinevere A. Bruner. Megan Geddes Cossack. Tyler Ryan Deaver. Rosanna Dombrowski. Lauren Rachel Goodacre. Ashley Higgins. Darby K. McQueen. Michael Andrew Miller. Mary Robertson. This year, we have graduates of our Master of Laws programs. These programs provide students with an opportunity for a rigorous and focused study of one area of the law. The student graduating with an LLM in cyber, intelligence, and national security law is Andon Tsegai Gorezgeher. The student graduating with an LLM in U.S. law are Shannon Allen. Enrique Ascanio. Roman Campos. Sandra Milena Castaneda Pinzon. Laurent Paola Herrera. Let me do that one more time. Laurent Paola Herrera. Babita Iyer. Quan Ming Train. Ruchi Putel. Elsie Areli Umansor Martinez. Ivy Awel Uweje. Judith Marlene Wagner. Macy Ko Wu. I now present the graduates of the Antonin Scalia Law School at George Mason University Juris Doctor Program. Mary Margaret Aileen Coaster. Kevin Kirby Bell, magna cum laude. Teresita Ann Regelbruga, magna cum laude. Jacob Michael Adams. Lynn Adams. Matthew Ainsley. Abigail Kathleen Allen. Justin William Angati, magna cum laude. Harry L. Arnold. Amanda Banora. Danny Bartle, cum laude. Michelle Tabor Bechtold. Michael Brackman. Joseph Bramble. Rachel Ellen Burke, cum laude. Kevin Edson Piracola Case, cum laude. Hee-Jae Chang. Sarah Nicole Christensen, cum laude. Coralie Yu Chu. Brady Frederick Clapp, cum laude. Ashley Close. Thomas Coleman. Stephanie Rose Comstock Andruff, magna cum laude. Keith Patrick Corley. Anne McCarthy Cotter, cum laude. Kelly Barber Kasulis. Gage Dabin. Charles Alexander de Azagra. Alexander Charles Deese. Molly Kathleen Delaney. Jelaine L. Diamond, cum laude. Andrew Raymond Dorsum. Evan Robert Dream, magna cum laude. Ariana K. Drerup. Anna Maria Dunnan Underwood. Allison Edge. Johan Anders Louis Anglian. Lily Veronica Esfandiari. Lauren Farrer. Dara Glenn Finley. Aaron Lacey Foster. Eric Douglas Fowler. Patrick O. Francescon. Christopher Charles Gerhardt. Arman Gayumi. Mitch Pace Gibson. Tinos Giovanni. Kyle M. Glickson. Joshua Reed Grossman. Laura Noel Christiane Grumbine. Emily Elizabeth Gunberg. Trenton Halfley. Abigail Hall. Gifford Von Hampshire. Hannah Brooke Harper. Liam Ross Harrell. Rebecca Bell Haynes. Allison Ruth Hemmer. Elizabeth Azalee Hernandez. Haley Sloan Heston. Christopher Heiser, magna cum laude. Ethan Stewart Hoffman, summa cum laude. Mary Barkley Horn, magna cum laude. Bernard L. Horowitz. Miranda Ruth Isaacs. Shane Ivy. Molly Ann Jakowski. Benjamin D. Janisek, cum laude. Raphael Johnson. Sydney Jolliffe. Charles Philip Kalina. Nicole Keddington. Ghazal Kemash. Justin R. King. Alexander Kerpicki, magna cum laude. Harrison C. Coomer, cum laude. Mariah Latimer. Samantha Elizabeth Lewis, cum laude. Kirsten S. Lowell. Akila Mohammed Makshood. Musa Donald Martin. John Mark Mestakis. Madison Elaine Mathis. Slade Mendenhall. William Webster Miller. Cody Ray Milner, magna cum laude. Jonathan C. Moeller, cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Morales. Alexandra Isabel Morgan. Caitlin A. Morgan. Malin J. Maurer. Sophia Monroe. Gabriela Nicole Paez. Jack Patrick Panziris. Tuang An Pham. Anne Philpott. Jacob Quashus. Andrew James Quillen. Ryan Michael Reynolds. Camilla Ringling. Laura Beth Ruppelt, summa cum laude. Taylor Ann Sanders. Leah Helene Schild, magna cum laude. Kara Ann Schmidt. Stephanie Ann Schwartz, magna cum laude. Natalie Beth Seals. Allison Marie Siegel, magna cum laude. Alexandria Smith. Benjamin Ryan Smith, cum laude. Michael Smith. Christina Stengi. Timothy Alexander Swartz, magna cum laude. Patricia Ray Tennant. Allison Faye Tebow. Courtney Fry Talarico. Amy Towns. Heather Alexis User. Mark Brennan Vanderveen. David Francis Tyler Wallach. Kevin Wang. Carolyn Christie Watson. Crystalline K. Weaver, magna cum laude. Kayla Nicole Weckesser. Samuel J. Whiting, cum laude. Sarah Johanna Wilcoxon. Cameron Ellsworth Williams. John Robert Wilson. Rianne Lee Wright. Okay. We now present the graduates joining us virtually. Graduating with a Master of Laws degree in U.S. Law, Cynthia I. Kostakis. Graduating with a Juris Doctor and Master of Business Administration dual degrees, Corey Adam Gordon, cum laude. Graduating with a Juris Doctor degree, Elena Christine Bergner. Cliff Lee Crawford, cum laude. Rachel Irene Elliott. Zachary Quinn Villamez, cum laude. Tierney Randell Walls. William Daniel Wilkinson. We're done. Congratulations, graduates.
Let us thank you all again for being with us. Graduates, we are so proud of you. We're so proud to be outside with you. We're now going to begin our recessional, but our program is adjourned.